Hello, and welcome to Criminal Justice in a Nutshell. My name is Dr. John Fisher. And today's episode of Criminal Justice in a Nutshell is statutes. It's considered actually titled Sources of Criminal Law. And the sources of criminal law, this is a criminal justice class. So let's talk about where our laws come from and how we're enforcing those laws. The short answer is that sources of criminal law come from statutes, constitutions, judicial decisions, and administrative regulations. And in another video, I've talked about how Marbury versus Madison gave the power to the Supreme Court to interpret laws. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But first, statutory law. Statutory law is established by the legislature. It is codified and codified law. It's law that's written down, and that has its basis from customs and traditions. It's unwritten laws and rules. Okay, all of these four things are codified and then turned into a written penal code or written law. Customs that have become law would be the U.S. flag code. Did you know that it's against the law for an individual to even wear the United States flag? Okay. So all these people that you see running around wearing shirts of the U.S. flag, or their little bikinis in the U.S. flags, or their boxer shorts, or whatever is the U.S. flag. Although it's patriotic, it's a violation of the code of the flag, and it is against the law. And that's a custom. It's a tradition that's become law. Common law wives, common law marriage is also a codified. Okay? Because if you are cohabitating with somebody for a long time and you have presented yourself as married, you're married, and she gets half of everything when you split up. Just because an act is not a crime, or an act is not a crime unless it violates statutory law. Okay, and you could do anything that you wanted to do. If it's not written down, it's not codified, it's not a criminal law. For example, here in Texas, public nudity is not illegal unless somebody complains. I'm in a state park today. I'm at the Lake Brownwood State Park, and I could be wandering around here naked. Public nudity is not illegal unless somebody complains. And there's like 7,500 million children just behind me, so somebody would complain if I'm running around naked, and then I go to jail. Okay, so we get our criminal laws from the criminal code, the penal code, the U.S. code, the Texas code. Within statutory law, you're going to find two types of law. The first is a substantive law. The substantive law defines the elements of the law. It defines the individual rights, and it defines the citizen's responsibility to that law. Okay, because not all laws are applicable to all people. Okay, so if it's not applicable to you, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to follow the speed limit. And if you're caught speeding, you're going to get a ticket, and so on and so forth. That's substantive law. Procedural law defines the methods of which the law may be enforced. It defines the courtroom procedures, and it establishes penalties for violating the law. Okay, so you've got the substantive law. You will not exceed the posted speed limit. Posted speed limit is 35 miles an hour. If you're doing 55, you're going to get a ticket. The procedural law is going to define how that ticket or how that punishment is going to be set forth. And they'll go from there. Okay, so constitutions provide a lot of different laws. Although the United States Constitution only defines one law, and that's found in Article 3, which is treason. Criminal laws are contained within, constitutions, like the Texas Constitution. I'm in Texas today, or any state constitution. They define what their laws are, and they define laws. The U.S. Constitution only deals with procedural criminal law. Other than treason, it only deals with procedures. The Bill of Rights and the 14th Amendment and due process. This is what you're going to do. If you have a criminal in your courts, this is how he's going to be treated, and these are the rights that are going to be afforded to him. Okay. The third place is judicial decisions and customs. Okay, judicial procedures and customs. Decisions and customs develop case law. Okay, you guys are studying a lot of different cases today. Hi, Jacob. It's my son up there. So anyway, back where I was. You're going to develop term case law. One of the best and most famous. Say hi, Jacob. Go ask mommy. Go ask mommy. I'm making a movie. Go ask mommy. I'm making a movie. I know you're asking Daddy. Daddy's making a movie. You have to wait. Wait. All right. So as you can see, Jacob's in a rush to be able to get access to the internet, and the only way we can do that is through my phone. So he's going to have to wait. Okay, so what would you consider as the most famous court case on criminal procedure? There's a bunch of them, a whole bunch of them. But the one that is the most important, in my opinion, is Weeks versus the United States. Weeks versus the United States applied the Fourth Amendment to the federal government. Prior to 1914 and Weeks versus the United States, the Bill of Rights of the United States of America had no teeth. It meant nothing. Yes, they're there, but nobody followed them. After Weeks versus the United States, the Bill of Rights was applied to all federal agencies. Okay. Mapp v. Ohio took the Bill of Rights. And Mapp v. Ohio wasn't until the late 1960s. And Mapp v. Ohio applied the Bill of Rights to all of the states as well. So we've had 60 years. We've had 60 years of freedom. You know, it hasn't been since the 1960s that the Bill of Rights applied to American citizens. That's within my lifetime. It's been since I was born, Mapp v. Ohio. So anyway, judicial decisions, like I said, they do develop case law, and case law is real law. Without this case law is real law. Miranda v. Arizona is really important because it applied the Fifth Amendment to investigations, and the Sixth Amendment. We have the right to an attorney. We have the right to remain silent. And this is law, and it cannot be disputed. Judicial decision, I've said that already. The last place that laws come from is administrative law. It's a body of regulations and rules that come from the administrative agencies, such as the IRS. Congress is designated with the power to make and enforce laws, or to make laws. To enforce laws is done by the executive branch. So Congress makes the law, and the administrative branch and the government enforces the law. But Congress makes the law so vague, or real vague, so that the administration, that the executive branch of the government can fill in and make administrative law. and how to enforce the law. For example, I can't think of a criminal example at the moment, but yes, it does become criminal. So the legislature says that the United States will decrease their carbon emissions by 65% before 2025. And now the EPA and the BLM will make laws, establish rules, administrative laws, to enforce the law that the legislature made. Now, this is how we're going to accomplish and how this law is going to be met. And if you violate it, it's a crime and you can go to prison. Okay, so this is the sources of the law. Hopefully it's been helpful to you and understandable to you. And I do apologize for the interruption from my son Jacob. So this is Dr. John Fisher, and this has been Criminal Justice in a Nutshell, Sources of Law. Have a good day.